Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky, and I'm living Christ. The title of this video is Living Christ and Fictional Satanic Slaves. It's a story of duality, of how living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural men and women born onto this plane of existence have been transformed into dead persons, ideas, concepts, satanic legal processes where living dead fictions believe them to be the source of their existence. And they find that their life on earth is really hell. A never-ending series, linear, of problem solving, linear, fragmented, dualistic, opposing energy forces that rule their consciousness and leave them in a state of confusion, everlasting confusion. That's hell. It's hell on earth. Why? Because you are fictional persons who have been trained to believe in fictional ideas, myths, legends. You're programmed. Your consciousness has been tampered with by satanic forces of government, religion, banking, and corporate structures. You look at the world that you live in. I've just described to you the forces that control you, control your consciousness, control your life, control everything about you. And what is the essence of one who is controlled? They're slaves. They're not in control of their own life. They, along the way, have consented to becoming slaves. They have agreed to, they have contracted, satanically contracted legally with satanic forces, giving those forces power over them, the power to do their thinking for them, the power to control their lives, to extricate their life energy in the form of money. And then they strip you of that money to fortify their unholy means of control, their control of hell. Yes, if you're civilized, if you live in a civilized world, you agree, consent to live in hell and to abide by man-made satanic rules. And by satanic, I mean they are based in the dualistic intellect of man, the satanic mind, the conscious mind of mankind. Many of you don't understand that. Why? Because you're limited. You cannot go beyond the walls that have been created, that keep you inside those walls, and therefore make you a limited person, a slave. That's all you know. You have agreed to live your life in that realm of consciousness. That makes you a slave, and that makes you bound to hell, to dualistic thought. You also have your non-dualistic subconscious mind. That's the mind of non-duality. What is non-duality? It is what is. There is no opposite to what is. That's the nature of truth, the nature of love, the nature of God. You understand? God is the creator of all things. And when you are in your subconscious mind, the mind of non-duality, you are that God. That's only if you're in your subconscious mind where you can create. You can make what is and form, modify your energy, which is soon assaulted by your conscious satanic intellect that demands that you create everything in the form of opposing substance, confusion, where you must make a decision. You have made that a fantasy. It's not real. It has a beginning, it has an end. Anything that has a beginning and an end cannot be truth. It must be the reflection of truth, the fiction of truth, the idea of truth. That's what life for most of you who are civilized is. And you believe that to be the only thing there is. That is the level of your ignorance. Now, I'm not insulting you when I say this. I'm telling you the absolute truth. That you've not heard that from anywhere because you've been conditioned to be a Satanist, to go along with the rules of Satanism. Man's law is Satanistic. Man's courts are Satanistic. It's the same power of dualism that has ruled civilized mankind since the beginning of time. And it is only living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural men and women of truth, Christs, such as this living Christ, and Jesus of Nazareth. You have been lied to about Jesus. You have been fed a legend, a myth, created by Satanists who weren't Jesus, who didn't know Jesus, but they wrote the history of Jesus and called it the Bible. It's all second-hand information. It's concepts that rule you. Satan rules you. If you believe in the Bible, absolutely believe in the Bible without penetrating it to understand what is truth and what is not truth, what is the idea of truth, you are victimized into being a blind believer, a member of faith, and you are a controlled slave. Are your feelings hurt? I'm sure they are. You see, I have been walking on eggs for 25 years, not wanting to hurt your feelings, but I found that it's impossible. The truth hurts the feelings of people who are split in their consciousness and so are left in confusion, in doubt. And they want to be supported. They seek support in their confusion. That's groupthink. That's civilized behavior. You find it in the churches, and you find it in government. They're both the same force. They're satanic. One is based in coercion, government. The other, seduction, religion. And in between, you have a great deal of social activism that plies all egos with flattery, with stroking, with making you feel wonderful when at the very depths of your being, you are confused. You're angry. You're violent. So, when a simple man of truth like myself, this living Christ, begins to talk and speak to you of non-dualistic truth, it is inevitable that your feelings will be hurt. You will feel insulted. Actually, it is the ideas that go to make up your ego, which are nothing more than fortified habits of repetition, that serve you. That's whose feelings are hurt. It's all a fantasy in itself. But you're not aware of that because you are ignorant. You cannot go beyond your level of ignorance. So you find your place in hell that suits your level of conditioning. And you stay there for the rest of this life, every day, going through tests to see whether or not you are growing spiritually. It becomes a war. And most of you succumb to the fear that is bred into you. You are afraid to transcend the walls of your beliefs that keep you contained within as a slave, as a citizen, as a believer. You understand? One's politics, the other's religion. But deeply, they are both the same. They are Satanism. And that's your God. Satan is the god of the intellect, the dualistic intellect that creates the ego and that creates the conflicts that arise from within that ego. You are responding to your own conditioning when a simple man of truth like me, a living Christ, speaks non-dualistically to you. Your feelings are hurt. But are they really your feelings? Or are they your ego's feelings? And you must protect that ego, for that's all you know. That's all you believe yourself to be. You have created your own boundaries of ignorance and of stupidity. Stupidity is nothing more than the utmost of dualism manifesting itself in action. You're confused, you're confounded, you're conflicted, you're violent, you feel pain, you want pleasure. All these are satanic dualistic habits that you have learned. You don't call them that, but that's what they are. And you have lived a lifetime, as far as you can recollect. But you don't understand that that recollection itself is an idea programmed at the very depth of your conditioning. And that is the God that you serve. You serve Satan. But you talk of God. And you refer to Satan as God. So you're believing one thing, but you're acting out in another. That's hypocrisy. That's dualism. That's where most of you live your lives. And so, when I speak to you as a non-dualistic Christ consciousness, that energy exposes your dualistic beliefs for what they are. And you feel the depth of your limitations. And that angers you. That frustrates you. And you declare me to be your enemy. You, in your ignorance, are your own enemy. For you do not recognize your limitations. You do not see that you are merely a programmed automaton, a person. And you're openly called a person by those who govern you, the satanic forces of government and religion. They refer to you as persons and believers. They are all lesser entities than that of a living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural man and woman, children of a non-dualistic God, found only in the subconscious mind. Now, you can't live in your subconscious mind, that's a given. But life on Earth is really a testing ground to create a balance between the consciousness of the non-dualistic subconscious mind and the dualistic satanic mind of concepts and ideas. I must use words to communicate with you. No question about that. But words don't control me, I control words. Unlike you, you believe in words. You believe in concepts. And they become your God. They become your law. And you become their slave. That's how government, your creation, your government does not exist anywhere but for in your conscious intellect, through your belief. That's a fact. Government is not true. It's an idea. Religion is not true. That too is an institutional idea. And you are the creator of both. That makes you the creator, superior to the creation. Yet somehow the tables have been reversed and you are now a slave, an obedient, dead person serving the aims of a dead fictional agency called government and a dead fictional agency called religion. But you don't see that. Therefore, you're controlled by your own limitations. Now, you see, you can't argue with what I've just said to you, because what I've said to you is truth. And truth stands on its own. It is based in self-realization. It is not based in explanations or ideas. You see, if you have to explain something to somebody else, You're in a dualistic realm of consciousness, and it's tainted. It's satanically tainted. My words to you are true. You hear them at the satanic taint of explanation and definition, and therefore you don't hear me. You will argue with me. Understand? If you must argue, you are in a state of sin. For sin is nothing more than a contradiction in essence. And if you can examine yourself quietly, deeply, you will see that you have been conditioned into sin and calling it normal. That's the nature of life on earth for fallen people. People who are civilized are such fallen people. They live in illusion. They live in a world of fantasy, and they believe that to be true. They haven't got a clue of what truth is, because that can only be resonated with in the subconscious mind, and fear keeps them enclosed within their intellect. That is the nature of my more than 500 videos, which are limited by the satanic forces to double-digit numbers, designed to influence everyone who is ignorant, doesn't know any better, is searching, but is searching with fear. And when they see videos that have double-digit numbers going back for a year, they regard that as being worthless and are dissuaded from going on. And by going on, they would only find the truth that has eluded them because of their own fictional fear. Watch my videos. My videos are truth. Non-dualistic truth. They are inarguable. That is why the government no longer will answer me or recognize me as being a living being. They have tried for 25 years to discredit me through the intellectual process of power that is only found in hell. And they have found that they have failed, that I am beyond their scope of harm. They can only harm limited people who are limited thinkers and who are unaware. And many, many, many are just plain stupid. Stupid is based on limitation. I speak of awareness. Awareness itself is beyond the limitations of intellect. I speak of the infinite truth. I speak of God. I speak of you. And if you are able to break the satanic spell that encloses you in your intellect, you will understand the truth, the energy of what I have just said to you. Watch my videos and share them with everyone who seeks to be a free, sovereign son and daughter of God, of what is, of truth. That's how we break the satanic hold that has kept civilized man enslaved since the beginning of time. time immemorial. Understand? Stop the limitations that rule your consciousness. Open yourself to the what is, to the truth, to God.